go. Let's go. Check it out. Check it out. Thank you for coming out this evening, Brother Kudjo. It is New Yorker's Perspective, NYP Talk Show, and I'm your host, Brown and C. And we are here in the building. Let's talk about it. Can the Moors unite? We had that on the last one. This one, we're pretty much going into that more in depth, talking about the factions of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Last night I was watching Taharka Bey's Claude Green presentation. I couldn't watch it all because Taharka Bey, he's got a lot going on, man. He played like 5 different tracks, and then right after playing the 5 different tracks, then he went into it. I don't know, man, but I tapped in and I tapped out, tapped in and tapped out. And plus, honestly, I'm really not interested. No disrespect to nobody out there, but I'm not interested in who had the keys and the heir of the thrones and things like that, because to me, that was like so long ago. I think that we should move forward and start having some different conversations and stop being emotional over no disrespect, dead people. Sorry. No disrespect. I'm talking straight. I'm tired. That's how it goes with me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm thinking. I don't know. I could be wrong. I think that 2025, we're here. I see Kudjo. I see me. I see Taharka Bey. I see other Moors. I see Brother Sharif Bey. I see this Moor, that Moor. Those are the people we could say, okay, that Moor is a good Moor, that Moor is not a good Moor. He made this mistake, he made that mistake, that's wrong, that's right, because we can see it, right? But 100 years before us, or 50 years ago, it makes no sense to me. But what do you think about Kudjo? What do you think about it?
Well, peace to you and the platform. Peace to Brother Mikey. I think the past gives us a idea. It's not foolproof because like you're saying, we weren't there, so we don't really have a say. We're going on, what was left, what was said, what what I mean. But the issue that not dealing with the past brings is that when you start dealing with the present, the bleed over of the past is going to be in the present. You know what I mean? You're gonna have people, like they meet a Moor and then they want to know who their supreme grand sheikh is, for example. You know what I mean? When that, if I say I'm Moor, you say you're a Moor, like what we need to know that for, unless those people are the ones who are moving this individual like a puppet. Like that's the only reason that would come up. Who's your grand sheikh or whatever like that? Like the only reason that's coming up when 2 Moors are dialoguing because somebody has their hand.
Let's talk about it. Time out. Right. The puppet masters.
Right.
Puppet masters. What I learned from this community, I'm not talking about just the Moorish community.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the community. Like, I'll be specific. You're talking about the 5% Nation, Moorish Science. I've also been a part of the New Black Panther Party at one point. Man, puppet masters, brother.
Yeah,
It's crazy. So what it is to me is like a cluster of people who click up and they know each other. They've been around each other for years.
Yeah.
And they have their format. You get what I'm saying? And then and whoever's coming around or in the cipher, they kind of like play security. For whatever reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's a natural human thing for people to do. I've just never been a person that stayed in a cluster of group or clique of people even when I was in high school, I was with this clique, I was with that clique, I was with I was like in different, I was all over the place. I wasn't with one specific group of people. So I don't know, excuse me, I don't know what's that about, you know, but this puppet master stuff that you're talking about, can you expound on that?
From like we came up getting this information from multiple sources, you know. So we have one of the brothers, brother Sheldon L, made a video called More Avengers. It's just on the Canaan Land Moors YouTube. And the More Avengers is basically putting into the forefront the master teachers, the sub master teachers, the sub master teachers that we look at. These are the ones to study from, right? Based on our years of being in this and who resonates with the people, who resonates with us, who deals with this on the love principle, who deals on the truth principle, the peace, freedom, justice principles, right? And use that as a template for where more should go if they're coming into this to learn. Now, the puppet masters in the Moorish paradigm are the ones who talk against these same people that we're talking about. You know, don't study from them. Noble Drew Ali didn't bring that. You hear that a lot, right? Noble Drew Ali didn't bring that, so you can't listen to them. Oh, he's not wearing his sash or something like that, or his fez is orange. Noble Drew Ali didn't bring that. Oh, you know, brothers can't this, brothers can't that, violation of divine this and all that stuff. But then when you check the puppet master and their puppets works, it doesn't equate to where we're supposed to be at. You know what I mean? So when we look at if we use RV Bay publications, for example, right? There should be a one, if we're talking Moorish Science Temple, right? There should be a one site, the Moorish Science Temple, right? That gives all the succession and all that stuff.
Wait, hold on.
Talks about the supreme grand, whatever.
There. More, you got to stop right there. Hold on. That's the same idea that I have, bro, about the Moorish website. Wow, that's crazy, right? Like all the positions, the official positions.
Yeah, who's what, right? And right. That's what it should be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what it should be. Now if we use RV Bay Publications as an example again. Now, if we went RV Bay Publications and 5 of them popped up, wouldn't you look at that as funny?
Yeah.
And then 5 of them are different people saying different stuff than that one, and you're gonna look at the stuff like, what the hell is this? Why are there 5 different ones?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Right? Mm-hmm. So saying that to say these things haven't been done. Right? That coming together of all these people who are saying that they're different factions of the whatever and different supreme grands and different temple number 1s and different conventions and all that stuff. In 100 years, these people should have probably said, hey, you know what? We're causing a lot of confusion. Right? This is just the leadership, the puppet masters. All the puppet masters should have came together and said, you know what? We're in honor of Noble Drew Ali, we should probably have one Grand Major Temple. Right? Where is it going to be? Well, Drew Ali said Chicago's Mecca, so okay, we should probably make that spot be it. Yeah. Right? And then all the whoever's that are saying that they're Moorish Science Temple of America, whether it's Inc., whether it's Reincarnated, whether it's Unity Temple, whether it's whatever, all of them, all the puppet masters, all of them should have came together, stayed this one thing, and we wouldn't have to have these type of conversations. But because these things weren't done, This is why you have a Taj Tariq Bey. This is why you have a Ras Mariah Bey. This is why you have a Alim Bey, an Asir, because those master teachers realize that these puppets they're not going to do what they're supposed to do. They're not going to do it. For whatever reason, it's not going to happen. So we're going to take it on ourselves to do these things. Right? What needs to be done for the benefit of the Moors, the benefit of the nation, benefit of the children, benefit of the honor of Noble Juali. They said on themselves, you know what? These people out here that are playing puppet master, since we can't get with them, you know what I mean, and we're not going to join them, we're going to do our best to do our own thing. And then when you check all those people's records, you'll see that they've put in work. Just look at the people who say honors to them, while not saying honors to the Supreme Grand whoever, and not saying honors to, if we pull up all those Moorish Science whoever's right now, and we pull up their video archives, if you got 20 views, 50 views, that you pull up a Seer, hundreds of thousand, a Taj, hundreds of thousand, pull up Obashango L, few thousand. It's not gonna be limited, as far as the reach, right? The reach of the people who the puppet masters would call renegades of the Moorish movement. Their reach is way more than the people who are claiming the authority, which is supposed to discontinue them at that point, because if you're not reaching the people, then what the hell are you in this for? Because this is really about reaching the people. This is really about influencing the people toward the Moorish movement, toward Noble Juali, so that they can in turn proclaim their nationality. And then we could start getting the numbers on the side of having a nationality, opposed to, oh, well, that's cool, but I'm gonna stay over here and I'm gonna be black. I ain't proclaiming my nationality because Moors are sovereign citizens, or Moors are, and then they start talking all this confusion stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with us being Moors or not.
Got you. Well said. Well put, man. Now, I said we were going to talk about the factions. I want to talk about the faction you come from, right? So you come from the Taj Tariq Bey, RV Bey. Sorry about that. Do you guys hear the phone?
Yeah,
you hear
it's
the
all
phone?
good. Yeah.
Okay. Pardon me.
It's all good.
So the faction you come from, can you explain that? Where do the faction you come from, and where does it derive its authority from?
Okay, so when we came into this in 2008, Grand Major Temple, #1 in Chicago, these Moors left that because of corruption and fraud and whatever else, and started saying that they're Grand Major Temple. Right? They took the seals and all that stuff because these people were doing BS over there. So they're saying they're Grand Major Temple. This is same body with Neil Bey, right? That's how we came into this, through Neil Bey. So on our inception into this, we were put on record about all the masters. Brother Heru Ranisi El out of Atlanta.
I've heard of
right? Brother Sharif Bey.
Wait. Hold on.
Grand Chief.
Wait, we got to rewind that. Hold on. Okay. So you're saying the faction that you came from through Neil Bey.
Yeah.
Okay. These are the Moors that help build that temple, or?
These are the Moors who established themselves as Grand Major Temple after leaving Grand Major Temple because they found out about corruption there.
Grand Major Temple had Neil Bey in it.
This is the newly created Grand Major Temple.
Okay, Emile Bey, Haruru.
Yeah. Now they weren't in it. These are who the leadership of that temple were telling us, these are the Moors that you want to stay close to if you're studying.
Okay.
So the names that they brought up were Grand Sheikh Nature, Grand Sheikh Nature El Bey, Emile El Bey, Ras Mariah Bey, Taj Tariq Bey, Sharif Bey, Heru Ranasi El, Obashango El, Brother Abdullah, and few other Moors in there, right? That they said, you stick with these Moors, you'll be good with regard to learning this information the correct way, because we learned from the Supreme Grand whoever's, and don't even waste your time with them. Don't even waste your time with those people, because look where the Moorish movement is with them in charge of it. Right. And again, this is after me trying to find a Moorish Science Temple or some Moorish authority to get us involved, because we were interested, and Neil Bey being the only one that said, hey, come check it out. Like, come to the temple and see what it's about. I'm not telling you what it is online. So when we went to check it out, we got the down low on everybody. The people who were the puppet masters and the people who were righteous, independent, fearless, master teachers. If they have a lecture, you want to go to that. We're bringing whoever here next week to do a lecture, and from that time, 2008, to now, all those more is still right and exact. As far as where their knowledge base is, and now some of them might have some different affiliations that we might look at funny, right? But and also too Dawid Ali El and Kenyu Bey, and then Kenyu Bey, who's Supreme Grand Sheikh right now of Temple number 1.
Now, Supreme Grand Sheikh of Temple number 1. What faction is that?
That's the Bailey El faction.
Okay, can you explain the factions, like the breakdown?
So when Noble Drew Ali was around, it was Noble Drew Ali and the Supreme Grand Council, and there was no factions, right? It was just Noble Drew Ali and whoever was on the Supreme Grand Council, right? After Noble Drew Ali transition, that's when you have the thing with the factions coming up. So there was Emile.
I'm gonna say this before you go on, because you're gonna say Emile El. From what I learned from that Taharka presentation last night was that before the prophet passed on, there was already a split. This is what he claims.
Yeah. They started their activity. This is why you have Noble Drew Ali writing the letters to be read every meeting and all that, because they already started the infiltration before he even transitioned. Right? It was already going. So he was sending letters to Moors, warning them about, hey, watch out for these Moors over here. Oh, you're in Detroit. Oh, watch out for that Moor over there. He already stole some finance or whatever. So the split was already happening. This is why we lean toward Noble Drew Ali being assassinated, not dying of some illness or whatever like that, because they needed him out the movement. They had to get him out in order for them to take control of it. But you're not, if there's all these factions, then it's not going to be one that's going to have control. There's going to be a splintered, there's going to be the power is going to be siphoned off in different areas. So let's say there was 5 factions, right? Out of 100%, then everybody got 20% and thought they had the 100.
Got you.
And then they carried on with their 20% as if they have 100%.
Right. Now you were getting ready to go into the factions. Now you said Emile.
Yeah, so Emile El, and that was who, as far as the literature and the letters or whatever, Noble Juali is who made the authority, right? For if anything goes on, he's the one that's going to be in charge. Kirkman Bey, Givens El, Lomax Bey, Kirkman Bey.
You said that,
right? And then you have Elijah and Fard and all those people.
Wait a minute. So how would okay? When you mention Elijah and Farad, I it throws me off because I've never seen anything that indicates or like any real valid evidence that they were a part of the temple. Only thing I've seen was just like maybe they're John Hancock on like on some kind of attendance sheet, kind of, if you will. But we don't really know. It's not like substantial, the evidence. So when you mention Elijah and Farad, now, and I'm not being biased or anything like that because I come from the 5% Nation, and then 120 technically comes from Farad and Elijah. But my thing is like, what's the real truth about that? Were they really involved in the temple? And if they were, because you're making it as it being a part of the Moorish factions, and I don't think that's legitimate. Like I don't think that they belong in that list. I think when you put them in that list, you throw people off because we're looking for Beys and Ills.
Yeah, well, Fard was a L, and Elijah was a Bey. And if you go to there's a panoramic picture of the first Moorish convention. Right? There's a panoramic picture that asks anybody in the Supreme Grand whatever, and they'll be able to show you the panoramic picture. And on the right back, Elijah Muhammad's there as a flag bearer.
Yeah, I saw that. I think yeah.
So if he's in the picture at the Moorish convention, then he's part of this. Now, what they did after that is why the people say that they're confused. Why would you put them in there? Because they're looking at Nation of Islam as being that's what that is, but that's not what that is. That's Allah's Temple of Islam. And then before that, that was Moorish Science Temple. All these people did was change the sign. Okay,
that's a heavy claim there, brother.
Yeah, it's a lot, but that's just what it is. That's why they had fezzes and all that. That's why they called in the early years they called before Fard was Allah in person, he was Prophet Fard. Why is he Prophet Fard?
Well, in our lessons,
he's not a prophet.
In our lessons, it does say prophet, though.
Yeah. How do you get prophet if the prophet is Noble Juali? And remember, his prophet came from 1930 onward. Pre-1930, he wasn't known as Prophet Fard.
I mean, look, I'm gonna say this, man. I don't have any substantial evidence to make that claim, but let's say just to make an educated guess, though, I would put that. I would say he could quite have possibly been in the temple because look, from the fezzes to the prophet talk to the Islam, the flags, flag bearing,
Asiatic black man and all
Asiatic
that stuff.
black man.
Like everything points to their foundation is Noble Drew Ali. The supreme lessons, question and answer. That's the 101 questionnaire.
Right.
They just changed, just started talking about their own stuff, but they did the same catechism. Have the question with the answer. You memorize your stuff, right? You get challenged on your thing, or question 16, question 8, question whatever. It's the same template. They just call it something different. And again, the substantiated proof, evidence, or whatever is I'm not a goofball. My faculties are working properly. I'm not dumb. I'm not DD. I'm not ADHD, dyslexic, anything like that. I'm fairly competent in my thinking abilities.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And 101 equals 2. Like this is not some hard stuff to figure out unless I'm looking at this thing all emotional and I got attachments. The same thing. I got attachments to a faction and all that stuff. So now I'm gonna try to defend my faction because you can't talk about the master teacher like that and all that stuff. Come on, stop it. Stop it. Just either you accept it or don't. But you don't gotta play around like trying to defend something. You either accept it or you don't. Now, when I see Nation Islam 1930 to 1934, 36 with fezzes on, and then they don't have fezzes, and then Nation Islam people are telling me, well, Elijah Muhammad banned the fez because he didn't want to be connected with the Moors who were criminals and all that stuff.
Yeah, I heard something like that before.
So obviously, you're trying to disconnect from your foundation. Because why wouldn't you keep the fezzes? Why would a fez connect you to some, like, that doesn't even make sense. That's why you're gonna, you know what I mean?
Right.
Right. Doesn't add up. The justification for their founding doesn't add up to me. When I did my research, you know what I mean? And like there's books. I have a library at my house. I know Moors. We study, we build. Other Moors do some research. They might find a book, send that book. You go, you know what I mean? And there's too much evidence out there to prove otherwise. That all these people were part of this. When Noble Drew Ali transitioned, everybody took a percentage of it, whether it's in lessons, whether it's in finance, whether it's in dress code, whether it's in language. They took it and then they went over there and did their own thing and tried to say that, oh yeah, we found it in whatever year and now this is what we are. And then everybody went, oh yeah, that's what they are. And then everybody went with that's what they are, when that's not really who they are. They should be telling their, and it would be more honorable for them to come out and say, you know what? Yeah, Elijah, Fard, Ugan, and going down the list of all the people. All these people were part of Moorish Science Temple. Because of whatever, they left and we started our own thing. It'll be better for them to say that than to pretend like they have no connection to it, only for it to be found out later that, oh, there actually is a connection. And then, they don't want to accept that reality.
Now, to find out whether they were connected or not, like concrete evidence so that there's no denying it, that has to happen. So that could be squashed, right? Or at least if it's not squashed, because people will still keep up with a lie, So as long as the youth has it, then that's all I care about anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because
and again, that comes from research. So if you're researching, if you're researching, what would be the subject matter? The subject matter would probably be Islam in America. If you go and you do your research on Islam in America from the 1900s to the 1930s, 80% of the information is going to have a section where they're talking about Moorish Science Temple, and they're talking about the factions by name, and they're talking about the connection between the Nation of Islam and Moorish Science Temple, how the Moorish Science Temple is the Nation of Islam's foundation. 80% of the research material on Islam in America starts with Noble Drew Ali being the founder of Islam in America for the Asiatic blacks, right? There was nobody teaching Islam out here for our people before him. So he's the founding of that. And then everybody else who came after. And just on that alone, all these people who are claiming Islamic or whatever should be given supreme honors to Noble Drew Ali, because he's the founder of it here. And they wouldn't be teaching Islam in America if it wasn't for Noble Drew Ali.
Got you. Now, this is a good conversation. I would love to talk about this with brother Eric Muhammad, but Eric Muhammad, I don't know. We'll see. Eric Muhammad is he says Elijah, W.D. Farad, or nothing.
Yeah,
that's his mindset. But to go into the factions a little bit more. Now we understand you're making Elijah and W.D. Farad a part of those factions. Your point on that makes a whole lot of sense. So I'm not going to disagree with you right now on that. And I'm not going to agree on that yet, because I have to do my own research. Now, as far as the other factions, you mentioned Emile El, you mentioned C. Kirkman Bey. Those two names are very popular, especially nowadays.
The fight was mainly between them.
Got you. Can you explain that?
The tension was mainly between them. Let me find this. Let me find this letter. Okay. The following letter is a letter sent from Brother Emile El, Supreme Grand Sheikh of the MSTA, to Brother Kirkman Bey of 536 West 12th Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, dated June 17th, 1931, and reads as follows. Islam, my dear brother, I am agreeably surprised as well as glad to hear from you at this time. I have often wondered what happened to you. Now, speaking of Dove L, you didn't give much understanding as to what this party was doing, or where he was operating, or who gave him his authority if he acts in the lines of Islam. So find out what this brother is teaching, his right to do so, and who did he receive it from. Now, the whole trouble is this. When I was on my way around to visit the Prophet's temples in August of 1929, Kirkman Bey was made Supreme Grand Advisor by a group of members secretly, and it was kept secret, unbeknown to me, what was on, till we were ready to transact our regular business in the convention. Then they sprang this trick of making Kirkman head of the organization, which is in direct violation of the Prophet's laws and the Holy Quran, according to chapter 10, verse 22. We, as heads of the Prophet's temples, fell asleep at that point by being confused over the passing of our Prophet, which they knew you would not be expecting any surprise, and that so they thought that was the time for them to put him over. But I had stated in the outset, in advance of any official work, that in view of the passing of the Prophet and the much confusion that was very rampant at that time, we wouldn't be able to do anything effective except choose a grand treasurer and a board of trustees, which the Prophet said himself we should have. Anything else, I declared, would be unofficial till the next regular meeting of the Supreme Grand Council. He, Kirkman Bey, was made advisor anyway, but I knew I had been given the power by the Prophet in the first article of the Constitution to change anything that went wrong, by the Holy Quran and Constitution, which we did in the last convention. But he doesn't think so. He decided against him. Yet he is still acting against the will of the Holy Prophet Juali. But can you expect he thinks he has perfect right to do what he is doing? Because so many of the governors and grand sheiks fell after the passing of the Prophet, and most of them are with him now and against the Prophet. They are fighting me because I won't stand for Kirkman Bey to act as Supreme Grand Advisor of the organization. They are doing all they can against me on this account, virtually destroying, if possible, the movement through willful malicious disobedience.
Whoa, where is that?
Again, this is the after Noble Juali transition, and the split happened.
Where's that information?
Oh, this is in the Mukarabin Files, the same book that I showed you from.
Files.
Yeah,
okay.
The Mukarabin Files, right? Now some of who are with him as against the Prophet, and I say against the Prophet because when you fail to recognize the man the Prophet appointed and give him your cooperation and support, you have virtually turned down the Prophet for someone else. And those I know of, according to their ways and actions and works, Brother T.W. Osley, Milwaukee, Brother F. Nelson Bey of Detroit, Brother C. Charles Bey of Cleveland, Sister M. Cliff Bey, Indianapolis, Sister Dove L. Chicago. These don't write me when I write them because I won't accept Kirkman Bey as in place of Juali, and I never do. Well, the time is proving all true according to divine plans. He said, children, there won't be but a few saved because you are not going to do what I tell you. Your way you want and your way you are going to have. But your way leads downward, children, so you better do like I tell you. If you do like I tell you, there is a chance for you. If not, there is nothing for you but death. They govern their actions by majority, which is all right if the majority is right. On the other hand, if only one is right, then that one is the majority. That's Islam. But they want to run the Moorish Science Temple of America according to the principles of Christianity or politics.
Now, who's saying that right there?
This is Emile El talking right now. But if I would do that, I would be all right with them. But Juali said to me on his sickbed before he passed, you do what I tell you. Never mind what they say. I have given you law, Quran, and Constitution, and I expect you to enforce my law and do what I say. Never mind what they say or do. They can do nothing but die. So you have the law as laid down by him, Juali, and you will be required to answer for yourself in that day and to choose now who you will follow, whether it be Kirkman Bey or Noble Juali, the divine prophet of our God Allah. And I'm going to expect you at the next convention that you may forego things amiss, because to follow anyone now except Juali, you have no part with him. I hope I have made myself and the cause clear to you, and if not, write for further information. Peace, Emile El, Supreme Grand Sheikh, Noble Juali, founder. Right? And wow. then we have September 26, 1930. Islam, Brother C. Kirkman Bey. This is to notify you that the above named organization, Moorish Science Temple of America, in convention September 15th to 20th, rescinded by voting out the mistake made by the second annual convention of 1929. And in doing so, you hold your membership role as when our prophet was here. And we hope you will still cooperate with the organization under the 5 principles. We hope further that you would comply with this notice and govern yourself accordingly. There is but one Supreme Grand Advisor in the Moorish Science Temple of America, that being Noble Drew Ali, and anyone else attempting to be from now on is assuming authority of himself and is liable to the penalties of the law. Peace. Moorish Science Temple of America, Noble Drew Ali, founder, Emile El, chairman, Forster's Hall, 44th and State Street, Chicago, Illinois.
What year was that?
That one was 1930. That was 1930.
That's an interesting. This is interesting right here. Interesting information. Can you tell the people where to find that?
I don't know where you're going to get it now. I know that it's on Scribd, but just look it up, the Mukarabin Files, and something's going to pop up either on Scribd or I think there's a couple of websites with it on it, PDFs.
Mukarabin Files.
Yeah, Mukarrabeen Files, Mukarabin Files. An answer to the 45th question by Richard R. Edwards L.
Okay, and who is Richard R. Edwards L? Where's he from?
I guess he's just a Moor who decided to document everything that he had and put it in a book. Which, again, this should be in the hands of every Moorish American. And if they don't have it, it's probably because the people who's called out in here, makes them look like.
Okay, so what Emile was saying is that the C. Kirkman Bey was basically taking the movement more into like a Christian kind of church movement.
Yeah.
Which that wasn't the goal. From the beginning.
From the beginning.
Okay.
And then Noble Drew Ali, hold on, and let me just put this one out there too. Where'd that one go? Find this one letter by Noble Drew Ali. Okay, this is December 27th, 1928. Be very careful of propaganda and news that you hear. There is a certain movement from the churches to destroy our movement and dishonor me, and that have been paid, both Europeans and Asiatics, and any outside letter that you receive, let me know the messages, then I will know that you are a Moor, and I favor Moors. We Moors must stand in unit. We stand together according to deeds and actions and not words of lips. This letter is to be read to the temple. The 8th of January is my birthday. That will be your Christmas, and all presents are to be sent on that day. I look for all faithful Moors to send me a present on that day, no matter how small or how large, let it be finance or domestic. It is the law of Allah, not mine, and I am his son, one of his sons. We are under the crescent and star, the same as other prophets have been, and the world is under the same. Love to all. Peace, Noble Drew Ali. So during Noble Drew Ali's time, he knew that there was a certain movement from the churches that were trying to destroy what it is that he's doing. And then why was that? Because Islam is really our religion as Asiatics. It's not Christianity. And anybody who's teaching you that Christianity is our religion, they're probably working with the other side to try to keep you in mental slavery.
But with this document, who's talking? Noble Drew Ali?
Yeah.
Now,
that last one that I read.
Right. Now, he's saying that churches were basically trying to move in on his movement and overtake it, pretty much.
Well, not even overtake, destroy his movement.
Right. Destroy
his movement, right, and dishonor him.
Right. Now, who were those churches around at that time?
Yeah, we don't have that info. I'm sure somebody out there has more stuff relative to that time frame.
Because it would be interesting to like research
Yeah,
what
see
were the
who they
churches
were.
that were in contact or had direct conflict with the
Yeah,
Moorish Science Temple at that time. Because if we dig deep into that, maybe we would find some other things
yeah,
that
yeah,
that will connect with the
yeah.
things that we already have. Now, wow, this is
Now, one of the interesting things too in this is is and that have men paid, both Europeans and Asiatics, and any outside letter that you receive, let me know the message. That's the same thing that they did with the Panthers and all them, and El Ruckins and all them. Have some outside party sending letters to everybody that they didn't send to each other, and then have them beefing with each other over some fake letters that some agent wrote. That's COINTELPRO. But this is 1928. COINTELPRO wasn't around yet. So you can see that Noble Juali is the foundation of everything. Noble Juali is the foundation of how to destabilize anything Asiatic that's successful, right? Him and Garvey, because they did the same thing with Marcus Garvey, and the members of the UNIA turned the members of the UNIA against Garvey over some $3 mail fraud, which $3. That's what you're mad about. He did mail fraud for $3, and he's going to federal for that.
Yeah, that's wild.
Right, and then for him to get exonerated and have because remember they just released, they just gave him his pardon.
Right.
Right. What was that, 100 years it took them to pardon him?
Right.
Oh, so if they're pardoning him, then that means that stuff was some BS then, right? Because why would they give him a pardon if he's guilty?
Right.
So that's to let everybody know that these people trumped up stuff on him. And that goes for W.E. Du Bois, NAACP, all them people, all those black sorority whoever's.
Yeah.
Right? That were playing like, oh yeah, black liberation and all that BS when all these people were against Marcus Garvey and set him up to be in federal for $3 mail fraud.
Right.
And then you check the pattern, right? You see the ones who get assassinated or get railroaded, those ones are the ones that are the righteous ones, and the ones that get to stay around, the Jessies and the Als and the Farrakhan's and all these people who, they didn't get assassinated. How come they didn't assassinate Farrakhan yet? If he's so for the liberation of the black people and all that stuff, and he's the savior of the whatever, they can't put something in his drink or something yet. He's still around. But then El Hajj, who was talking against those people because he realized the fraud or whatever, he went to Mecca and realized the fraud that these people were on, teaching people about being black and all that. And then he comes back here and he shot up at his own stuff. He wasn't even at an NOI thing. He was at his own thing. Not even in their jurisdiction. And he's getting shot up at his own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Rizza Islam, why is he still around? He's supposed to be on some Medicare fraud charges with his moms right now. How he get off Medicare fraud charges?
Okay.
How Farrakhan get back into the country after he was talking crazy to U.S in '86 with Gaddafi and getting the 5 million from Gaddafi and all that. They can't tell me what to do or whatever like that. And then he's back in the country and nobody's talking about him and Bratton Bey and Ava Muhammad and all of them meeting up and setting up the whole thing for him to get back into the country by naturalizing through Temple 13 in Baltimore. And that's documented. That's a documented fact. And that he didn't come through New York, that he came through New Orleans.
Okay.
And those are documented facts.
Okay, I'm gonna have to rewind this.
There's correspondence. There's letter correspondence between Nation of Islam and Temple 13 Baltimore.
I saw that one.
Yeah, with regard to Fard getting his nationality and all that stuff in order to get back here, because UDOTS is going to stop him at the border and all that stuff. You got to be careful. And
no, I was mentioning the one about Farrakhan. I think it was Farrakhan. I forgot who it was, but someone from the Nation of Islam. They were corresponding, to with the Moorish Science Temple.
Yeah. Farrakhan.
Yeah. So it was Farrakhan and not who did you Farad. It was Farrakhan, not Farad.
Yeah, Farrakhan.
Farrakhan. Right. So that's all interesting right there. Wow. That's see, these things, this is what we need slides for, slide presentation, so people can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of now. Being that we have all of this information out here and other things to uncover, and a overall goal, which is to uplift fallen humanity and unite Asia, right? That's the overall goal of the prophet. So in this day and time, 2025, why does it seem so hard for us to come together, put the facts on the table, and we submit to the will of the truth and move forward as a unit? I'm thinking it's because we are in an era where men are super emotional right now.
Yep. And ego driven.
Right.
Emotional and ego driven. That's the powder keg for disunity. People who got egos, right? And people who are driven by emotion and don't want to accept the truth. The truth is that our people don't have a nationality, right? When we look at outside of the Moorish nation, right? All the other people who look like us, look like you, look like me, look like Brother Yusuf, look like Brother Mikey. All these individuals are going around claiming to be something that they're not, when there's actually something that we should be claiming that we are, right? And once we claim that, then we shouldn't have any, there shouldn't be any issues,
right?
Because that's the foundation of all human beings. What's your nationality?
Right. This is a great topic, the factions, and you put it together pretty well. You gave some great information of who would be the leaders or the names, main staple names for the factions, and you put Elijah and Farad in there too. And I want to unpack that a little bit more, even though we went over that, but I want to unpack that a little bit more. Let's just keep going over the factions on this podcast until we come to some kind of
right.
Some
well,
kind
well,
of
again, with regard to the factions, like, all they have to do is come together under Noble Drew Ali and stop playing around like they're the ones that are the authority. It's not them. It's not the supreme whoever's. It's not the grand whoever's. It's not the whoever made up the title consular general or whatever. Noble Drew Ali is the foundation. That's the foundation. What should we be living by? We should be living by the 5 principles. That's not hard stuff for everybody to agree on. That's easy. We're gonna live by the principles. Yes, we're gonna stop playing puppet master games and bringing up those people. Forget them, because we've been here 100 years and these people have done nothing with what they have. They have the keys for the salvation of a nation and they've done nothing with it. And if they've done something, it's for their selfish self. It's not for the nation as a whole. Because if it was for the nation as a whole, then we would still have Unity Hall right now. That wouldn't be an apartment building. We would still have community center. We would have a grand treasury. Now, if we had a treasury in Drew Ali's time, and these people kept the treasury, and they kept putting to the treasury or whatever like that, till now, what do you think the Moors will have right now? If the Vatican started in 1913, right? And look where they're at now.
Yeah.
Where do you think the Moors will be if these people stuck to the program from when Noble Drew Ali established this to now? We would be better as a people. They can't say, no, we won't. Because everything else that started 100 years ago, it's either dissolved or it's prosperous.
Do you think it's possible the treaty between each nation from the Emile El to Kirkman to NOI to 5%? Do you think there's a possibility to treaty with these groups?
Once they all say that they have a nationality, and it better not be some made up stuff that they made up at their house.
So you say everyone goes under the name Moorish.
That's what our nationality is. Now you could say Moorish Cherokee, Moorish Hebrew Israelite, Moorish Nation of Islam, Moorish Nation of Gods on Earth, Moorish whatever, and then all these people and all these organizations, they got El and Bey and all that stuff. Clarence 13X Bey. If that's what you want to ride with, just have the nationality there. Is where I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? Because all you got to do is put Moorish on it. You know, if you're saying you're UNIA, you're taking that Negro out there and you're putting Moorish there. Because no way you're saying United Negro Improve or Universal Negro Improvement Association in 2025. There's no way. Because people don't even use Negro anymore. So what are you talking about? Right? Foundational Moorish Americans. How about say that and try to get some reparations instead of FBA? They get way further if they say foundational Moorish Americans than foundational Black Americans. Guarantee you. But do they have enough guts to try? And clearly they don't.
Right. On that note, brother, thank you for coming out this evening.
Thanks,
I really appreciate you. I want to continue this conversation on the factions, because this could do some real good in the community, especially if other people come into the conversation and chime in.
And on a quick note too on that, with regard to the factions, we're not saying against anybody or anything like that. We're just putting out the info that we've researched, and the people make a decision on what they want to do with this info that they have now. Either they're gonna stick with the faction thing and we're gonna stay separated, or they're gonna come to their senses and realize that these people, if they haven't brought it together yet for us to be unified, they probably don't want unity. Let's go and figure out our own stuff.
Well said. On that note, see y'all next week. Peace.